Hi, my name is Terri Sproul, and I want to welcome you to my studio. I want to apologize. I'm using my laptop tonight, so I couldn't get my lights really well on my face. But the important part is the lights are good down on my desk, and that's the important part that you guys want to see. This is our live Tuesday night show, so I want to welcome you. If you're watching this on a later date, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, give me a thumbs up, and consider joining me on Tuesday nights for a live show. So I'm going to switch over because we're going to get playing right away. So let me switch cameras. And hopefully we're not going to have any problems tonight because I am not on my Dell. I am on my laptop, but I have a very small screen, so be nice to me. Okay. First thing I want to show you is I picked up this balsa wood heart at Michael's the other day, and that's what we're going to start with. But they never come completely sanded really nice. So I am working with Proxon. It's a tool company. They make mini tools, especially for crafters. And then this is their pen sander. So I'm taking off an old head, and I'm going to put on a brand new sandpaper piece here. These are really easy to use. They come with multiple different heads, as you see. And this is only $42. Real simple to do. You just twist this off, and you can take the head out with a little hole down there and put it right back in. Boom, you're done, ready to go. So let me move all this out of the way, and I'm gonna real quickly just sand the edges. Just, you see, it's pretty quiet. It's really easy to use. It's small, portable. As you see, it's very small. And they call this the pen sander. And they're actually having a design team call right now. So if you like power tools, this could be the design team that you want to be on. And you can find that design team information over at tinytooltime.blogspot.com. So I'm just going to do a little more around the edges here. And we will be good. Okay, so there we go. That looks so much better. So that's a really nice little toy to have in your arsenal. Okay, first thing I want to do to this heart is I'm going to use Deco Arts medium crackle paste because I want to crackle my heart. So this stuff is really, really thick. One of the most interesting crackle pastes I've ever found, though, as far as any of them go. Deco Art seems to have the best. So I'm putting a nice thin coat on because I don't want it to take forever to dry, for starters. And I want to completely cover my heart, so. And I want to talk to you guys. I want to get back into talking about why I do art and why I encourage you guys to do art. And it is because, you know, we have things that happen in our lives and, you know, we get our heart broken. That's the point of this whole class tonight, is getting our heart broken. But I don't know about you, but my heart seems to break up in a little bitty pieces, not just, you know, crack down the middle. So that's why I decided to do Crackle on it. So let me stick that to the side and let that dry while we work on other things. Let me real quickly just get that crackle paste off there. Okay, working in our art journal. And I did gesso prior to getting here because I plan on using acrylic paints. Whenever I'm going to use acrylic paints, I almost always gesso first. Couple reasons. One, you end up using less paint if you crackle first. Excuse me. Question from Susan. Does it make big cracks or small cracks? And the answer to that is, if you put it on thinly, you're going to get small cracks. If you put it on thick, you get big cracks. So good question. Thank you for asking that one. Whenever I'm going to use acrylic paints, I always gesso my pages. That way I get, I don't have to use as much paint. Tonight I'm going to grab my silk acrylic paints from from Color Art. And this particular one, I have to admit, it's one of my favorite colors, and it's called Autumn Leaf. And when you see it, it kind of has some golds in it and almost looks like it has some orange in it. It's just a really, really pretty brown. It's a real subtle, pretty brown. I mean, it's not, I don't know how to explain it, but it's really, I really love this color. It's funny, me and Leslie have talked about this color quite a lot, how there's so many people that really like this color. Oh, I'm grabbing baby wipe because I want to, while it's still wet, take part of it off. It kind of reminds me of leather, I think. I think that's why I like it. Kind of has that leathery look when you're done painting it. So I did put part on there, and then I am wiping off some of the excess with a baby wipe. And the reason for that is it really does kind of make a difference. If you want it to be a little lighter, that's a good way to make the paint a little lighter without, but still getting a good coverage. So yeah, this reminds me of leather. Maybe that's why I like it so much. Joe would laugh if he was here. He's having internet problems tonight. I had him for a few minutes and then he died, and it's not my problem this time. So this is Color Art is COLOURARTE.com, and that's where you can go to the store and get the silk acrylic glazes. I'm going to just color in where I missed down here on the bottom, because that will bother me later. I know me. Always bothers me when I don't have my page completely covered with color, unless I intentionally wanted it that way. Okay, I'm happy with that. So again, just softening it out with the baby wipe. Perfect. Okay, now I want to grab Indian ink, and these are new stamps from Stampendous, and they're Andy Skinner stamps, and this is the industrial set. It comes with these three stamps. I'm going to use this one right here, and my Indian ink, as you all know, I love my Indian ink, and I particularly want the lines going this way, so I'm going to be inking up my edge right here, and I'm going to go around the edge and just do this around the edge. I used this stamp just recently. If you haven't been over to my YouTube channel, I just made a steampunk anchor, and I used this stamp on it. This is a really cool stamp. I really have to admit I like it. And it does give you really subtle looks, which is what I was after. I'm going to bring this up to you guys just so you can see it a little closer. See that? Isn't that a cool stamp? Okay, now I'm going to be doing something straight down the middle. So I'm going to continue this idea kind of down the middle, and you kind of see what I'm going to do here in a minute. So just like that. So there we go. And I did leave a gap there, and it's okay. I have was my plan, believe it or not. Okay. Molding paste. Oh, before I do that, I want to make sure that even though Indian ink will not activate after it's dry, it will still activate if it's a little wet. So I'm just going to real quickly dry it, just to make sure I don't activate that ink. Once Indian ink is completely dry, you will not have that problem. Okay, so molding paste. I'm using it from Golden, but you could really use embossing paste from Dreamweaver, which is the same place you would get those stamps. So you could use that, no problem. I just happen to have, I usually like to use the light also because it dries quicker, but my light is almost out. So actually, honestly, I couldn't get the lid open today because I still hurt my hand. I don't know if I told you guys that. Yeah, last week didn't come to the class because I smashed my hand pretty good. And it's about 95% better now. But I still have that little bit of, okay. So I've got that smeared on there. Now I'm going to take a, this is a texture tool that I happen to have. But if you don't have something like this, you could make your own out of a credit card. Let me do this part real quick and then I'll show you that. So I'm going to take this one edge here, and my idea is to pull the molding paste away from the center, going up and down. You see what I'm saying? What I'm saying here, how I went up and then down. And now you see why I put that crackle behind there like that. Now I should throw this into a sink, but I don't have a sink, so I'm going to take a quick baby wipe to get most of it off, and then I'll deal with that in a minute. And I'm going to keep the baby wipe around it so that when I get a chance I can clean that better. Okay, credit card. If you have a credit card, pair of scissors, you can get that same idea by doing little, or room key cards was my favorite thing, little notches. You know what I'm saying? And you just keep, you would keep going with the little notches all the way across. See where I'm going? And then you would have your own. So you don't need to buy one of those. Just always keep your key cards. Always, 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 always. Okay. Now I'm going to dry this real quick. Let me say done to that question. Now remember that molding paste will crackle if you get it too hot, so be careful. Actually, it bubbles, which is really cool texture. So keep your tool moving. That way nothing gets too hot. I see it starting to bubble, so I'm going to jump off of it for just a few minutes. And I'm going to take another one of the industrial, actually I want this one, another one of the industrial stamps from Andy Skinner as part of that little group. And I'm just going to do a little more stamping around with the Indian ink, very random. Just to give more depth in there. See, nothing too big. This is another set that he has that I really like too. This is a steampunk set. I'm probably going to use that tonight. Maybe. We'll see. I never know for sure. Everything's taking longer than I need it to dry, 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 dry. We got too much moisture in the air. I bubbled this by accident. So this is not cracking really well, and it normally crackles really well. Maybe it'll crackle a little more as we go on. See there along the edge, it's starting to crackle pretty good. We'll give it a few more minutes and see what it does. If not, we can work on that. We can fix that. Okay, I'm going to attempt to go on here. Okay, I'm going to grab, this is again a Deco Art medium paint. You can get this also from Golden and from Liquitex, but honestly Deco Art's quality is just as good as Golden, and this is a really expensive paint, and it's hard for me to say. It's Quinacridone Magenta, but I love this color. Quinacridone Magenta. I'm lousy at saying that. So I'm going to put a little dab right there, because it's very expensive paint, so I'm always very thrifty with it. So there's a little dab right off camera there. So I'm grabbing a paintbrush, and what I'm going to do is paint it right in the center here, hoping that's dry enough for me to do what I want to do, but we're going to find out. These two colors together, by the way, this brown and this magenta, the autumn leaf and the Quinacridone Magenta, are so pretty together. Okay, I'm going to grab my little water bottle, and I am going to spray, 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 spray. Get it going both ways, because I really want it to kind of smear both ways. It'll kind of naturally do that because of the lines that I put in there anyways, but oh, I went to a really cool steampunk event a couple weeks ago, since you guys haven't been here in a couple weeks. Had a lot of fun. Met Avi from the Just Steampunked, if any of you guys are watching that. That's on Wednesday nights on GSN. So again, dry. Just grabbing a few drips that are getting carried away. Okay, let me go back to my heart and see. Okay, that didn't crackle very well. It could be because mine's getting old, because I've had really good luck with these in the past, so we're going to work with that. Since I didn't get good crackles, I'm going to use my Andy Skinner Industrial stamp to give me crackles. So I'm going to ink it up, again using the Indian ink. No, I'm not getting a whole lot of rain, but we definitely have moisture in the air. You know, Debbie asked about that big fairy, big stamp I used on the bottom of a fairy layout I did. I got that at one of those stamp shows at, you know, those corner booths that don't have any names or anything on it. And I don't remember, and I'm so sorry, Debbie. I wish I did. But see how I got crackles without having to have crackles? So it was okay that it didn't work. I'm going to take this off my lap again, because I want to paint. Now, what's nice about the Quinacridone Magenta is it's translucent. So those cracks that I just made are going to show up on my heart because the paint is translucent. Now, because this is a 3D, make sure you do your edges, and I should have stamped my edges too. I'll do that here in a second. I didn't think about that. That was wrong. So I should have done the cracks around my edges too. But I can do that here in a second. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I'm going to get myself a new jar because I've had really good luck with that Crackles in the past. So it must be just that my jar is about a year old. So what. Okay, I'm going to go around my edges and get my edges inked up. But yeah, that steampunk event I went to was so much fun. If you're friends with me on Facebook, check out all my pictures. Okay, me likey. Okay, let me take some of these drips away if they're not wanting to dry. Oh, I really like this page. This is turning out really cool. So my idea is put my heart right there. If I have any string, let me grab some string. I want some string. Okay, I found some. Sorry about that. I always yell at people when they do that on camera, so I apologize that I did it. I think I just want to wrap my heart like that. Kind of giving it a very organic look. Okay, so let me grab some tape now. Double-sided tape. Actually, I'll use this. You know, I find this stuff a lot at the 99-cent store, this mounting tape. So go to the 99-cent store for even your crafting supplies. And one more piece. Okay, I'm going to put one more piece on there. So I'm going to actually use that to glue down it to the background. So yeah, that's not pretty on the back, but that's okay. Nobody will see it but me, right? I like that. Okay. Now, back to talking about our hearts getting broke. We need to, you know, pick ourselves up and go on. You know, we can't allow downtime, bad times, whatever you want to call it, people who break our hearts, you know, whoever that breaks our hearts, we need to be able to get over that. So I picked this really cool stamp that says, go confidently in the direction of your dreams. And this is one from Sin City Stamps. It's actually on the My Wish set of stamps. How do you use Crackle paint so you can see the different paint underneath? Okay, good question. First you would do is you would paint the product with whatever color you want underneath. So you would paint the heart with the other color, right? Then you put the Crackle over it and then allow it to crackle. Then you paint over that. If you're still having problems and you're not seeing the colors below it, you can take a paint and water it down a lot and then allow it to like seep into the cracks, and then you would wipe off the top of it so the paint would only be down in the cracks. I hope you understand that and that made sense to you. Okay, real quickly before I put this down, I want to make some watered down gesso for myself. I need that in a second. Don't need this anymore. I'm going to grab some plain gesso, white gesso, make myself a tiny little pile, and grab my favorite fan brush and water. I'm going to water down this gesso. And I'm going to dip my brush into the fan brush. Works the best to make splatters, and I'm just going to add some splatters across my page. This works really good to make stars too, by the way, if you're painting. Oh, did everybody watch the eclipse the other night? Oh my God, that was so cool. I'm lucky enough to live up here on top of Palomar Mountain, which has the largest observatory, third largest observatory in the world. So I was with some amazing people that really knew what they were talking about and was showing us all kinds of stuff. I got to see Saturn. I got to see Andromeda, which is the closest galaxy to us. It was just amazing. It was a really cool night. So I'm real quickly drying, especially up here where I want to put my stamp, so I can get that done. Okay, I think that's dry enough. Okay, cool that off a second. And what I want to do with this is I want to actually use embossing paste on this, and I'm going to use the distressed embossing paste because I don't want it to be shiny. And then I want to talk to you a little bit of a tip about Tim's embossing powders, the distressed powders. Now, we're all taught that there's release crystals in the embossing powders, right? Well, that's good if you're doing a huge stamp, I think, to have the release crystals. And to get the release crystals activated, you need to shake the bottle. But since I'm using words, I do not want the released crystals because I want all of my words to show up, or all of the letters to show up. So I'm actually not going to shake mine. So that's a really good tip. If you can, I'm after the color, not necessarily the distressed part of it. I do want the fact that I want the color and I want it to not be shiny, but I don't want the release crystals. So if you want the release crystals, you shake it. If you don't want the release crystals, you do not shake it. Making sure I got this going the right way. And I'm just stamping that down. Lifting that up, getting this out of the way. Grabbing my little tray over here. And my embossing powder without being shook. So I apologize. I'm going to try not to be off camera here, but if I do, forgive me. Looks like I did really well. Yep. So right there. Perfect. Okay. Now this, oh, the color that I used here is, I don't know. Hold on. I think it's warm paint, but I'm not positive. It is old paper. Sorry, completely wrong. Okay. I know it's really hard for you to see on camera there, but it does say it right there. It says, go confidently in the direction of your dreams. So even if you get your heart broken, go confidently into the direction of your dreams, and remember to have dreams. So again, I want to thank you. That's my whole page tonight. I'm really happy with that. I'm actually going to end it right there because I think it's perfect. I wouldn't change it. I don't think I'm going to change it. I think it's pretty. And get some close-ups for you. Those cool stamps from Andy. How cool that center is with the molding paste. Go over here and look at that heart. Again. So if anybody has any more questions, what are our tiny tools? What was the design team was right for? Yes, the design team is for the Proxon tools, which was the little pen sander, is one of the many tools that they have. And the design team call can be found at tinytooltime.blogspot.com. If you do not remember that, or you're having trouble, catch me on Facebook and I will do my best to get you that information. Okay. Any other questions? I'm checking before I get off. I keep touching my mouse from my big computer and forgetting that I'm not on my big computer. I'm on my tiny little laptop. I don't think I see any questions here. I'm looking both places. Now I'm having problems staying connected. Oh, I'm sorry, Debbie. Okay, doesn't look like there's any other questions. Again, if I missed a question, find me on Facebook. Join my group called All Things Terri Sproul, and I'll answer your questions. Bye, guys. See my happy fingers? Bye.